When it comes to how our Dobermans interact with our families, I feel like we all just kind of want a gentle, sweet, loving, caring, just complete dream Doberman. But what if we take a wrong turn somewhere with our dogs? What if we do something, or worse than that, we don't do something that we should have done, and we end up with a Doberman who's, well, a whole lot scarier? Well, today we're going over 7 great methods that Doberman owners have been using for, frankly, quite a long time to ensure that they end up with Dobermans who are just complete sweethearts to their own family, right here on Doberman Planet. Oh, and don't worry, your Doberman will still protect you. This just ensures they're going to be total sweethearts to you and your family. It's what we all want, right? Let's get right into it. All right, the first and one of the most important methods to making sure you end up with a sweetheart Doberman is early socialization, and lots of it. Yes, this is kind of an obvious one, guys, but between about the age of 4 weeks of age till 12 weeks of age, maybe as late as 16 weeks of age, according to some studies, is called the critical socialization window for Doberman puppies. And this is a time when their curiosity about the world overrides any fear that they have. So that's when you want to socialize them as much as possible to show them that the world is not a scary place, because seemingly aggressive behavior comes as a result of fear very often with dogs. So this is when you want to expose them to many people, places, things, activities as possible. Take them out on car rides, put them on a boat, bring them to a stranger's house, have strangers come into your house, as many new things as you can during this time, and you'll get a huge amount of bang for your buck here. Even socializing them after 16 weeks of age is still incredibly important to do, so don't let up on it. Socialization should be a lifelong thing. But this is one of the biggest ways that you end up with a very calm adult with no aggression issues and no biting issues. Number 2 is acclimation to being touched. Now, I've jokingly referred to this on my channel before as picking on them training, because sometimes it looks to other people like you're kind of just picking on your dog. You're really not, and it shouldn't be like that. It's not malicious at all or anything like that, and it should only be done when the Doberman is comfortable. But basically, you want to touch your dog and get your dog used to being touched in different places and in different ways than normal. So touch their ears, their nose, their lips, their feet, their paws, in between their toes, move their legs around a little bit while they're relaxing, that type of thing. Make sure they're always comfortable. It should never be forced. It should never be a fearful thing. Always do it when they're relaxed. And this can really help to make a calm, relaxed adult, especially if you have kids in the house who are prone to touching them in certain unexpected ways. If you do this a lot when the dog's a puppy, when they're an adult, they're going to be a total sweetheart, trust me. And a lot of owners have found, even if they start doing this and their dog is uncomfortable with it, they can dial it back, go to some more common touching that they're used to, like just normal petting, and then slowly start to work up to some of the other touching, like the ears or the lips or the toes. But this is a great way to ensure that you end up with a totally gentle adult Doberman. Number 3 is the hand in the bowl trick. This is a big one. This is a really cool technique for making sure your Doberman stays calm and relaxed as an adult. It was taught to me when I got my first Doberman very early on, and I'm so glad it was. Basically, when your Doberman's a puppy, as they're eating, get them really used to you either putting your hand in their bowl or an object in their bowl, whatever you're comfortable with. You should know your dog and know what you're comfortable with, and stop them from eating. And sit there and wait until a dog stops trying to push past your hand or the object and looks at you. Then give the release command and allow them to go back to eating. If you do this every meal, and then as they get older, you can do a little bit less if you want, just to remind them, you will make a dog that has no resource guarding issues, which is huge and very important for a Doberman or really any dog. In fact, one study done at the University of Pennsylvania showed that the most common cause of dog bites on children that were familiar to that dog was surrounding resource guarding. So do this from young puppyhood onward, and you should be in a great position when it comes to avoiding that reason for a dog bite. And of course, all my sources for studies and things that I mentioned will be in the description down below. Now, the next method for reducing aggression or biting issues in a Doberman, spaying and neutering. Now, this is a little bit of a double-edged sword here, and there's some conflicting information out there, but the Doberman Pinscher Club of America, the DPCA, takes a stance that this does tend to reduce aggression, and their website cites studies from between 1976 and 1997 to show this. Here is a quote from their website. They say, quote, Aggression problems are most common in intact male dogs, including dominance aggression, as well as fear-related aggression, aggression between males, and other types of aggression. Castration is a valuable part of the treatment for aggression problems and is helpful for preventing problems from occurring in the first place. Roughly 50% to 75% of the dogs who are castrated because of aggression problems will show significant improvements or complete disappearance of their aggression. However, some recent studies seem to show otherwise. In fact, there were 2 studies that looked at 15,984 dogs in total, and of course these studies will be linked to in the description down below, and it seemed to conclude that spaying and neutering the dogs led to considerably more aggression in the dogs. In fact, the studies show that it led to 33% increase in touch sensitivity, a 31% increase in fearfulness, and an 8% increase in excitability. So really, personally, my big takeaway was, after reading all this, was simply this: that castrated dogs seem to be more likely to have fear biting issues, but less likely to have dominance or aggressive biting issues. At least that was my personal takeaway, but the studies are down below. You can read them and decide for yourself. Dobermans are really pretty dominant dogs, and they don't tend to be very fearful in general. So it does seem like that the castration does appear to help some of these things. It certainly rings true for the tons of families now that have helped on my website, DobermanPlanet.com, with my coaching services. I have a lot of one-on-one interaction with my viewers there, and that really rings true with a lot of these families and the experiences that they're bringing to my attention. So I'm gonna have to agree with the DPCA on this one. Number 5 is to make sure they get plenty of exercise. Now, this is very important for Dobermans. It reduces their anxiety, it reduces their hyperactivity, and they need at least 1 to 2 hours a day. That's typical for a Doberman. Now, some Dobermans have high drive and they need a lot more than that, but if you get your dog the exercise that they need, trust me, your Doberman is gonna be way calmer, way more relaxed, way more focused, and less reactive to new experiences they come across. This will increase the chances that when they're out about in public and they have new experiences, that it's a positive one. That's a positive experience. And remember, these are habit-forming dogs, so the more positive experiences you give them in a row, the more likely they'll be to expect positive experiences down the road, and you'll have much less of an aggressive or biting issue down the road. Your Doberman with plenty of exercise is like a whole different Doberman than if they're wound up and they're uptight because they haven't gotten it. Trust me on this one. Oh, and if you want more ideas on how to exercise your Doberman throughout the day, and trust me, it makes a huge difference. It's like a totally different dog if you get your Doberman exercise, and sometimes you just need good ideas on how to do that. I know that as an owner, but if you need those ideas, check out this video. It'll be popping up right there in the corner of your screen. I spent a whole day exercising my Doberman Arlo incredibly thoroughly, and I track it all with a really cool smart GPS collar, and I show you all the results. It's a really fun video. It should give you a ton of ideas. I'll link to it down in the description down below, so you can just go check that out after you're done watching this video. Now, the next method to make sure you never end up with an aggressive Doberman on your hands is more positive reinforcement. This is huge, guys. Okay, so through all your interactions, your training, your general behavior guidance throughout the day, everything you do with your dog, I want you to have lots of positive reinforcement, lots of love, lots of praise for your dog, petting, rewards, all that stuff. It builds a tighter bond between you. And in my opinion, it just gives your dog a more positive outlook on life, has them looking forward to the next good thing that they're gonna do, and just leads to all good things. Now, every Doberman is different, right? Some are really dominant, and those dogs sometimes need more clear, firm direction, but make sure you just start off, assume that they are a dog that needs lots of positive reinforcement and go from there. You can provide clear, firm direction to those dogs that need it down the road, but make sure it's encased in tons of positive reinforcement always. You won't be sorry you did. The next method to make sure you never have a biting or aggression issue, lots of positive experiences. Make sure as the owner that all the experiences your dog has are positive ones. It's very important to do. This kind of ties in with the socialization, but these are habit-forming dogs. I mentioned that before. They'll recognize that something follows a trend, follows a pattern, right? So if you get them in the habit of always having these positive experiences, they're gonna expect positive experiences to continue, and it really just leads to a dog that's calm and relaxed. And the more positive encouragement you give them along the way, the better. If you are bringing your Doberman into a situation that they don't like, they're uncomfortable with, back off. Step away from the crowd, step away from whatever you're doing, or pause for a minute. Give them positive encouragement to continue, but if they still don't want to, back up even further. Never continue forward into a situation if your Doberman is not relaxed and calm with it. It'll build the trust between you, and it'll ensure continuing positive experiences, and you will not have an aggressive Doberman if you approach it this way. Lucky for you, a Doberman is a very sweet, gentle, and loving dog from the start, so you're starting off in a good place, and as long as you invest a lot of love and sweetness and gentleness into your dog, you should get plenty of that in return. Before you take off, make sure you check the description down below. I got just a ton of resources down there to help both existing Doberman owners and new Doberman owners alike, so definitely look in the description of this video to help you out no matter where you are in your Doberman journey. And before you take off, why don't you check out some of these videos on your screen? There's a lot of cool Doberman Planets videos to look at, and did you know that every one of my videos has a different intro? Yeah, that's why they get kind of crazy with their intros, because they're always unique. But take a look at some of them. I don't think you'll be disappointed. They're kind of a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button and the like button before you take off. I'll see you next time.